Hey, hi Tom, hi Walter, how you both doing?
Hi, Marcos. Fine, thank you.
And you, Tom, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm good.
Cool. So welcome to today's live screen time talk. We're celebrating the launch of a new lighting product, which has been co-authored by Tom Dixon and Austrian lighting brand Prolicht, which we're launching live on Virtual Design Festival today. And of course, we've got Tom Dixon here and Walter Norz, who's the CEO of the lighting brand Prolicht. Tom, everyone knows who you are, but do you want to just go through the motions and explain who you are, what you do, and why you're looking so rock and roll with your sunglasses on next to the window there?
Right, my name's Tom Dixon, and I am a designer and sometimes entrepreneur, and I run my own label from London, where we sell, broadly speaking, around the whole universe, 90 countries, right? So the sunglasses are actually reading glasses, tinted for the summer.
And is that natural light streaming in through the window, or is it one of your products that's...
No, this is a fake backdrop.
Sorry?
It's a fake backdrop, like yours.
But where are you? You're at your home in London. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in a secret location in southern England.
Okay, Walter, what about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, and about Prolicht.
Okay, my name is Walter Norz. I am from the Tyrolean mountains. So we are really in the middle of the Alps. I started 25 years ago with Prolicht. And from the beginning on, our target was to develop and produce really nice architectural fittings. And today we are also, we are a team of 250 people. We are also selling our products now to, like Tom, to 80, 90 countries in the world. And one of our big parts is also, big parts are retail and hospitality, residential, but also now since some time also office lighting. That's our brand that we are doing.
And Prolicht presumably means professional lighting. Is that what the...
Yeah,
brand?
more or less. That was the idea in the beginning. It's all about being professional, making things really perfect. So we are very much into efficiency, the perfect glare, the perfect beam, and to make things also minimalistic and really to the detail. That was the start. And actually the start why I started was all my friends and clients in the architectural world, they liked in lighting what was in the market, but they always, for their projects, they wanted to have it a little bit special, to adapt it or to make it to their needs. And from the beginning on, that was our specialty. Today we are all our range. We have in our standard range, we have around 4,000 products, and all of that products you can the client can configure it to a huge, we have to up to I think 18 million different products with different configurations. That's the big strength.
And where are you talking to us from? Are you at home or are you at the office right now?
No, I'm back in the office. Actually, I was always back in the office, but the team was a lot of the team was in homework. But we are getting already back to normality, step by step.
And you'll say you're in the mountains. Are you literally in the mountains? Are you in a village, or are you in a cowshed, or what? Where is your... Describe where you are.
We are let's say we are 10 minutes from Innsbruck, so in the west of Austria. And the cool thing that I always tell to my friends, from my office, walking distance, it's 5 to 10 minutes, and you are at the ski slope. So for me, a weekend without mountains is no weekend.
It's interesting actually, because you're the third person we've spoken to in our live interviews who's in the Austrian mountains. We spoke to the architect Chris Precht a few weeks ago. You know him?
Yeah.
He lives in a little village surrounded by mountains, and he actually showed us the view out the window. And then a couple of weeks ago, we also spoke to Alice Story-Lichtenstein, who is owner of Schloss Hollenig in near Graz. So is there some kind of conspiracy to make the London people jealous of your lifestyle?
Come on. We sometimes, especially in winter, we believe that we are little London, because with EasyJet, the bombers are coming in, and let's say every 30 minutes a slot is coming in, and with all the UK people which are with us in skiing and having fun. That's sometimes we really believe we are more English here than Tyroleans in winter.
Well, it's possible you won't be getting many EasyJet flights for a long time from the UK.
Let's see. I'm quite optimistic that things will change quite fast.
Okay, Tom, tell us a little bit about how you met Walter. How did you manage to come together for this product?
Well, you know, you'll know that our lighting in the main is used decoratively, and as Walter pointed out, when you're doing projects, and we do probably 50% domestic and 50% professional projects, people need very specific adaptations for professional use, and that's not the sort of thing that we can do. We can't offer 18 million configurations like Walter can, and also our business is doing lighting that you see, whereas Walter's is really doing lighting where you see the light rather than the fitting. And I think Walter's talked very much about the fact that his unique selling point was almost the invisibility of the fixture, whereas we do kind of the opposite. But of course, we do a lot of projects where you have to specify maybe 50% professional lighting. So we're conscious of that. We have also an interior design facility ourselves where we do projects. And I'm really interested in the luminosity. And I thought we were slightly failing in terms of our ability to properly illuminate space, particularly with the new technology. So we just thought it was time to do a collaboration, and we just wrote 2 or 3 letters to the companies that we admire in the sector, and there was an instant response from Walter. And what we've kind of learned to really appreciate about the setup in Innsbruck is the speed of reaction, because you know our business is again very different from Walter's in terms of we get components from all over the world, mainly from Germany, a lot from China, some from India, and we assemble them, and the supply chain is quite long, and the time to react to opportunity or to react to the market is very long as well. But what Walter does is to promise in the main nothing in stock, but delivery within 5 days of the order, which is kind of an amazing and phenomenal promise, particularly to architects and designers in the tight spot. So there was that aspect that I really kind of admired. And of course, so we hopped on a plane, the same plane to Innsbruck, and went to see the setup. And of course, having started myself in metalwork very early in my career, what I really liked was diving back into a manufacturing setup where almost everything was possible. But I don't know, is it time to show a few images?
Yeah, why don't you show us the images of the new product and tell the story of it?
I think I can do this sharing business. I'm not good for that. Oh my God. How do you share your screen?
It's shared already.
Is it?
Yeah.
If you say so.
Yeah.
What, you've got it?
Yeah. Got a picture of you on a beach sipping a margarita. Only joking, it's like a circuit board.
Right. Okay, so you know, the product started off here. I mean, my very strong view is that the world is powered by circuit boards, and you know, lighting also is powered by this. All too often, you're hiding this actually quite beautiful piece of technology behind a series of casings or heat sinks or lenses or diffusing panels. And I had this fascination with the circuit board just as an artifact in itself. So that was kind of the departure point, you know, before I met Walter, really. And the idea was really also to look into celebrating LEDs, which again have got this phenomenal capacity of reducing energy, but also distributing light over a large surface. You know, I love Piccadilly Circus with all of its LED advertising boards, where you know whole buildings are covered, like in Times Square, with, and even in Shanghai, with whole buildings covered with LEDs, where you can affect the color and the luminosity of the building by distributing the panels. So I felt it was time to kind of expose these magical boards and try and make something which really didn't use anything else apart from the board. So we started tinkering with these two shapes, you know, a circle and a square, just really basic shapes, with the idea of trying to make a modular lamp. And of course, when you start doing that, you start getting into systems, which, like I said, is not my business, but is very much Prolicht's business. Our first attempt was really at Chelsea Flower Show, where we did these grow lights. So of course, LEDs can be used for a variety of things apart from just illumination. One which is growing crops, which is what's happening in city farms all over the world right now. Other thing is for sad lamps, you know, for seasonal afflictive disorder where people don't get enough light. But we were trying to mimic really the kind of light you get from a window. You know, big, confident, flat, but distributed light source. So we played with these shapes. We played with strips of light, and this is our shop in London, trying to find ways of making very distributed glow of light rather than a specific light source.
I can still see the circuit board image. Is there supposed to be a different image showing now?
Oh, yeah. I'm clearly not sharing my screen at all at the moment. So
I can see your screen, but we're still on the first image. You should be able to just use the. Are you using PowerPoint or something? You should be able to just go through the images as normal.
I am. It's just that I've put you in a different window, so I'm going to try and go. Is this doing anything?
I can see your cursor now, yeah. So something happened. There we are. Okay, yeah. Now I can see the square and the circle, yeah.
Okay, right, I was flicking through on a separate PowerPoint, okay. Oh dear. Okay, so that's why I need a technological partner, basically.
You just proved the point.
Yeah, so I was talking about Chelsea Flower Show. So these lamps were produced for Chelsea Flower Show, really as grow lights. Then the interior of the shop here, where we were doing this very distributed lighting to try and mimic, you know, the light on a cloudy day. So just distributing the LEDs right across the space. And then we started making these big interior suns where we've got something like 800 or 1200 LEDs on each lamp, and they can be very bright or they can be very dim. But what they do is they distribute a very even light in a space. So these ones were the ones where I was thinking really about seasonal afflictive disorder, where sometimes you really do need a proper blast of light inside. But the reality is that it felt to me like it should be much more system, and these start to be the images really of the collaboration with Prolicht, where the system allows the architect and the designer to take charge of these modules and really create their own sculpture or lighting plan in a completely flexible way. So these are really my ideas of how you could use them, but there's no reason not to array them in a completely different way. And that's why it's called code in a way, because there's 2 or 3 shapes, but infinite configurations that could be made on a track system. So these modules plug in with a magnet, and some of them with a spring clip, so you can redistribute them along the track. I don't know if you want to jump in here, Walter, and explain more about track systems just in general, because track dominates interior lighting from a professional perspective, right?
I mean, I must say, when Tom showed me the first time his idea about the naked board, I was really shocked, and I think he saw it on my face that I needed really 2 days to understand the beauty of this thing, because we are normally so much exactly the opposite. We are doing everything to hide the source, to make the perfect beam, to make no glare, nothing. And Tom had the idea to show this circuit board, to show everything. I mean, these are on one board you have 136 of the LEDs, but then it was really when I was going more and more in, and that's the nice thing. We are, I believe, and that's why I think the cooperation with Tom is so fantastic. We are completely in an opposite thinking. He's so much the big vision to have one idea and see it from 10,000 meters height, and we are so much in the last little detail. That's how we can do this, and how we can hide something or make more beautiful. That was a good start, because actually with the board, the idea to make the board, just actually to design the board, so every single LED is not random on the place. Tom and his team, they designed the PCB how to be, and now it is also, even that's the pictures are beautiful, but in reality also, even when it is switched off, it's beautiful. It's a piece of design or art. I like it very much, and the way how we did it to make it real was absolutely great. But then, and this is what we love in all our projects, we love that the architect can play with the light, that he can put in the end, that we make tracks or systems, and in the end the architect, very often in a lot of our products, you can decide where to put the light and where you need it in the end. And that's the same thing here with these PCBs and with the track. So you have a very small track with it's just less than 1 centimeter height and less than 2 centimeters wide, so very small. And then you put the track, and then you click the PCB just on it. And then if you make the systems, you can, one thing, you can make your configurations. The beautiful thing is you can change it every day or whenever you want. You can change it, you can put another atmosphere, and that's also why we called it together code. You can make your code like in a Morse code. In a Morse code, just with a dot and a dash, you can make all the whole story, and that's also with this system. That's, for me, was really. But I must really admit, I needed the time to understand it. Now I'm a complete lover of this system. That's was quite, but it was a challenge, and to make it. And now I was just doing in this, as you see on this picture now, it's just a system and it's a line. But Tom even jumped further to make real sculptures. Perhaps Tom, you can tell us a little bit about the sculptures. That's a fantastic thing also.
Well, I think, you know, the track system as a means of distributing power in large spaces and distributing lighting into spaces is a fabulous thing, but it tends to cling to the ceiling. And I think it's probably a wasted opportunity to just have this thing trying to hide in the ceiling. So what we've tried to do was first to drag it along the walls, and then think about how you can illuminate from below as well, because I think the more I look at how we try and illuminate spaces, we're not only doing top lighting. I think top lighting is obviously a fantastic thing, but like I described before, trying to mimic how a window works or how the sun works, or even, you know, sunset, for instance, means that light moves in different positions during the day. And I think that by making a very lightweight and very inconspicuous, very thin track with very light, in many ways, light in weight, light visually, and light illuminating modules, we can bring light to different planes of a room. But the sculpture idea is really a kind of just a demonstration of how much I'd like this to be more a Meccano set or a Lego set, and liberate the design of the light fixture to the people that specify or design their own chandeliers or their own illuminations. I think this system has got the potential to be completely neutral and completely rigorous, because it is just a lighting board, but it's also got the potential of being completely decorative depending on how you array your modules. And there's literally infinite configurations, just like with a Lego set, with very few components, right? So the beauty of, again, of working with Prolicht, that have got this extraordinary service proposition, is that you liberate the design to be remade every time it's specified. So it doesn't anymore belong to me apart from the departure point. And I think that's quite an interesting liberation for the designer. It's quite hard as well to release control. I think for a lot of designers, including myself, you're constantly striving to find the perfect artifact or the finished object, right? And I thought I'd found it when we made this this ball here. That was, you know, what I was trying to achieve. But the more we had the modules in the studio, the more we started playing with different ways of illuminating. And I realized that I might have a few ideas. The architects and designers in the studios had other ideas, and the people at Prolicht had other ideas of how they could use the system. So there's something quite nice about being, I don't know, the evil mastermind that comes up with the idea, but then getting fresher minds and more innovative people in different fields to reconfigure them to their own use. That's the plan.
Tom, do you mind unsharing your screen now? You can always put it back up again if you want to show.
Are you bored, Marcus?
Sorry?
Okay. Are you bored with the pictures? Okay, here we go.
No, not bored. It's just good to see you guys for a second. So if people want to order this light, will your design studio put the configuration together, or can they design it themselves, or can it be a bit of both?
No, I mean, not at all. I mean, we will be designing our own configurations, and the ones that we showed are almost like a serving suggestion. You know, it's not. The orders and the inquiries go straight to Prolicht, and Prolicht has got a lot of experience at actually drawing up the things to make sure that they work, making sure that certainly the bits beyond my knowledge, which are really to do with the lumens and the color temperature of the light, are all configured to the architect's specifications, right? So Walter, you talk about that, because, you know, there is so much demand for specific light outputs for professional lighting, that it goes really way beyond what we can ever do in our own supply chain. But that's what Walter's completely specialist at.
I mean, the beautiful thing here is with the board, it was a long way to find the nice balance, that it is on one hand that you have the right brightness, that you have no glare, that it is still comfortable, and that you can also have enough light. And as they are also dimmable, you can make it individually dimmable. You can create the atmosphere that you want. But that's one point. And the other point is that we have also put into this system, so on the same system as the coat plates, you have also the small spotlights, the smallest and most minimal. You see that's how small the size is, where you can put your light effects also in a professional way, that you can make really centered light, a focused light on the places where you want. And to create with this, I mean, Tom has really, I believe really that this idea is really game changing. You can create really sculptures, systems, pieces of design and art. On one hand, you are completely flexible. Everybody can make his own. It's a little bit liberation, democratic light. Everybody can do it as he like it. And on the other hand, you can make it super professional, because very often, I mean, I'm a big fan of Tom's designs of the light fittings, but very often it's purely decorative. You have you very often you need additionally some light fixtures additional to create the atmosphere that you want. And now with this system, we have in one system both things, a really nice design, sculpture, atmosphere and everything. And in the same system, you can put wherever you need really the light in the power that you need, in the beam angle that you need, in the color temperature that you need. And that's unique. And I like it because it's for professional use. So I see this in restaurants, but I see it also in retail shops. I see it in my private home. Okay, I don't see it perfectly in an office, but that's a cool way to go. I believe that the symbiosis that Thomas created for me is really fabulous.
So it's not just for a professional audience then. If somebody wants to buy a system for their house, they can do that, or do they have to go through an architect?
That absolutely. And it's a super simple system. In the beginning, their first idea to call it was kit, and as a toolkit where you can put your light and your atmosphere as you want it. Just we find in the end that code is something more, giving again more this added value that the system has better than kit.
So just remind me, so if somebody wants to buy the system, they have to, what, they go online? Is there a configurator, or they email you, or will they be able to walk into a shop and buy 4 of these and 2 of those? How will people actually configure their system and then buy it?
That are good inputs. At the moment, we are working on a configurator. So the idea is really to have a configurator that you can online create your sculptures and figures and systems. You put it together, and then you just can click on it and order it through partners or directly. That's the idea on which we are working. I think we will release the system by end of July, and there also the configurator should be ready.
And can they be animated? Like, could you make a disco with them? And can they be different colors?
So that's really the addressable LED is the next battle and the next challenge. We're definitely working on it right now. We're making a custom disco version for your dancing pleasure right now, Marcus. In fact, that column that you saw previously will adapt it and probably make it part of the pre-launch activity. Now, obviously, we're all slightly locked down right now, but we're preparing for next week's relaxation, and it's already installed in the Cole office in London. And the idea really is that both virtually and probably physically as well, you'll be invited to come in a very timed, isolated spot with your bubble of friends that you've been isolating with to view this thing on a pretext that it's actually an exercise class, so that you can dance in front of the column, which will be illuminated, and there'll be an audio track as well, so that on your daily walk you can also see some new products, new sculpture, get some exercise, and we can do our product launch. You can get your health kick, and that should be ready probably in the next 2 weeks to go, depending on Boris, of course.
When you say addressable, you mean that each LED you can assign a value?
That would be the second step, but even by making each module illuminate individually, you can get a pretty good disco light going. So don't worry about that.
And colors, different colors?
Colors coming soon, Marcus. Just be patient. This is step one of code. Code will evolve, right? But that'll be a whole lot of...
Will they move? Will they spin around?
Marcus, when we go into color, you'll be the first to know, okay? We'll launch it right here.
I want it now. I've blown all the prizes. Walter, what are you seeing in terms of demand from architects and retail clients and office clients and things like that? What are the trends that are driving lighting design at the moment? Obviously, the LED has been around for a while now. Is that the pinnacle of lighting, or is there something else coming next? What are you seeing as what's on the horizon?
I mean, what I see, I must perhaps from my side in architectural light, what for me is really, how should I say it? Our industry has reduced ourselves to complete minimalism. So I wonder really if there is another form than a cylinder and a quarter. It seems to be that we all can do we are all trying to make the most puristic and minimalistic cylinder, to do it in architectural light and to just these standard forms. So that for me, it is really getting bored. I do not, if you go in, unfortunately, Light and Building was not held this year, but what bores me the most, and I must say we were doing the same. If you go over the fair with 2,000 exhibitors, nearly everybody is doing the same thing, and that's really the big pleasure for me to work with Tom, to think out of the box, to bring this creativity into architectural light also. We were in our field, I believe, this super minimalism, where it's where everybody is doing more or less the same, and it's just in details. I believe that's not the future, and I believe that we will go all out of this COVID thing. Will be a little bit, as my thing. It will be the new 70s. It will be flower power. It will be It will be, we have to celebrate. We will go out of this in the end. It will be celebrating. It will be a new life. It will be a restart. This is it's a, we call it, it's a sewer. It is something. I think we see a lot. We learned a lot. I believe it's hard. It's super hard. It's also, as an entrepreneur, it's not easy. But it gave us also a little bit the time to rethink what we are doing, and to value more what we have, and starting to go to for me it was really starting to look left and right. I personally, I was already in this tunnel to every day. It's getting more and faster every day, and I started to go with the bike to work, and for me it's really going through the forest 1.5 hours, one direction, and it changed a little bit in me. It was really say, come on, okay, okay, that's a stop there, but that's not the end of the world. Probably we will not grow this year as expected, as we did in the last 20 years, every year growing. And then suddenly something was happening completely unexpected. And that also tells you, wow, why every year should be the same and the same and the same, always the same, but a little bit more, the same, but a little bit more. And I believe things will change. We will start to be more creative. That's my opinion. To be not faster, better, bigger. I think it will. New creativity is growing, and inspiration. And we are also. I had a very nice dinner. As our company is growing so fast, sometimes I even do not know the new people in the company. So what I do is every month I invite all the birthday people from 1 month to a dinner with me. So I meet them, and there are sitting people who are working on the machine with the new people from marketing or with somebody. It's completely random. That's always a nice meeting. And one of the girls was asking me a really nice question. She was saying, what would you have done 10 years before when you have not had all these possibilities in marketing and doing? And then, yes, it was creativity. It was being different. It was being, and that's a good way. And I believe things will restart in this direction. And that's why I'm really so happy that Tom and me, that we found together. That's so much. Tom gave us really this injection in the company to see things in a different way. It's always when I'm speaking with Tom, I always need them sometimes to digest, and then I love it. And I must say also, I love it that Tom is one of the persons who is really valuing when we are going through our factory, and he stops at every machine and speaking with the people and seeing what is coming out of. I love this so much when out of a block of aluminium, and you go 50 meters and you see what is coming out of this, how things really, it's a little bit like in a bakery. You see when the product grows and how it develops, and it's much more value. I believe that we will go, that our philosophy, that we produce nothing on stock. I hate this. I do not want to produce on stock, because this is the biggest thing of waste. Because you have it on stock, you cannot sell it, you go down with the price. It's things have no value. We say, okay, we produce exactly the thing that that this person wants, exactly in the color, in the size, and as we have streamlined our process so well, we can do this at the same cost as other manufacturers are in mass production. And I believe mass production is really something that we should change to get more value, to see really how the product, I want everything that I buy, I want to love. I want to have some passion. I think passion will come back. Passion will come back to people we are waking up, we are seeing, when we are looking around, we see what's going on there. We have I restarted seeing details that I have never seen before. And now you're looking to the small things. And so I must say I'm super optimistic.
You said at the beginning that you thought it was going to be like the return of flower power, like the 70s. So does that mean lava lamps are back?
Perhaps. Ask Tom. He's the crazy guy from.
I'll ask him in a minute. But you said you're talking about manufacturing. Do you manufacture everything in Austria?
Yeah. I'm a complete nerd. We have really. I'm a control freak, so we have really every single process, every single machine we have in house. We have the I love Italy, but I learned in my history Italy is really great. But my first machines I bought in Italy, and that was a little bit of a disaster. So now we have all these beautiful machines from Germany, like Trumpf and Gildemeister and the robots, and that's even powder coating. We do it in-house, and it's so beautiful. For me, one of the most beautiful things is when I have in the morning under the shower, I have an idea, and I come to the office and tell it to one of my engineers. Sometimes in the evening, I have the fitting on my table, and that's so cool to see it in reality and to have all these possibilities, and you learn every day. But I believe we in Europe, we gave all our manufacturing away to the East. So we thought, okay, we can save costs and this is our manufacturing. I think what we did not think about is that we also give away the learning. In my factory, the guys on the machine, they every day are speaking with the guys from the developing department, and they learn each other, and every day they learn. And then the one guy is telling, wow, can we do it like this? And the guy on the machine is telling, no, but if we do it like this, that's better. And they learn every day. And so that's, I think, and to have a good knowledge of production makes it also easier to understand or to make new designs in reality.
And also this pandemic has shown that international supply chains can be very vulnerable to disruption.
Absolutely. I also believe that in reality, I'm always globalization, yes, no, yeah. But what I believe is that if you can produce it local, I think that's a big advantage. If you can, I think to spread the products into the world makes 10 cents if we have something that is outstanding. Then, come on, share it with all the globe. But if you have something that in every country can be produced, I'm not sure if this is for the global footprint, the real thing to bring the things from all over the world. But I think this will have also an end.
Tom, what about you? There's a lot of questions in there, but we're talking about changing trends in lighting and the impact of the pandemic on supply chain and things like that. What are your thoughts about the way design, interiors, lighting is going? And Walter's quite optimistic that the pandemic will end, but will there be a lasting change in the way that design is carried out, manufactured, and what people want?
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to. I mean, we're going to emerge into the mother of all recessions, and that's not going to be very attractive. It certainly makes you work harder, right? and you know, my business is what, 18 years old, and it was kind of created, you know, on the day after 9/11. So we plunged straight into global recession at that point. So it's possible to survive that. I think where I agree is absolutely with the idea that things will be more personal, and you know, everybody talks about local, you know, local manufacturing, local consumption, but now we're slightly being forced to confront that possibility a bit more, and I think that's got to be a good thing, you know, to spread industry around the world, and to spread and to reduce, you know, the amount of stock in the way that Walter's describing it is a dream for every brand, right? Why would you make more than you know you can sell? Why would you make anything until you know somebody wants it? And I think that's the really healthy possibility here with our project, and also with this little jewel of a factory nestled in the hills or rather the mountains of Austria. You know, from a macro trend perspective, I see really very much the need for people to cooperate. I think, you know, it's going to be a real struggle for traditional distributors, for instance, and for the retailers, because we know that people have got even more into the habit of shopping online and gotten out of the habit of visiting physical spaces. So for our partners in distribution and in showrooms and the rest of it, that's also something where I think we need to cooperate with them to find ways of helping them to survive. And the same with the supplier base, you know. So I see coming out of this a spirit of sharing a bit more, and that might, you know, that might overlap with Walter's kind of flower power movement a bit. You know, I think co-ops are a good thing. And where people just put in a bit of the equation, and you share your marketing, you share your transport, you share, you know, whatever you can share, you share, rather than trying to own it all yourself. So that's what I'm looking at, seeing, you know, even in my own building in London, whether we can share it a bit more, and whether we can get other people and celebrate other people a bit more. And, you know, opening up also the conversation about who's making our stuff and how it's made is going to be more and more interesting. And then, you know, from the trend of lighting perspective, I think, you know, it's all in this product. It's like I say, there's a kind of, you know, there's a limitation in me proposing a specific light source for any space. And what I've tried to do here is to look at how somewhere between the complete flexibility of a track system and a set of predetermined outcomes, there's real possibility to make your own artifact and make your own version of something which I'm just the initial departure point, rather than the creator of the object itself. So this kind of, you know, what's happening here is this merging of the technical world and the decorative world, which is what Walter was talking about at the beginning. And I see these kind of artificial distinctions between worlds vanishing a bit, and you know, we see that also even in London. You know, we've got a restaurant where obviously we had to stop the operations very quickly. We quickly merged into making a greengrocer where we were selling the professional quality vegetables and produce direct to the public, right? So taking out an interim part of that food chain, and so I think that people will be interested and wanting to really know the provenance. I think that's been a big thing for a long time, but being forced to do that by exterior circumstances and going direct to the producer is going to be something which continues as a trend. We're just speeding up a lot of things that were happening anyway, to be frank. So I've used the time really to wonder myself also what the shape of our business looks like, and use it really as an opportunity not to waste a crisis, as Churchill would say.
And both of you talked about, well, Walter, you particularly talked about not having stock, not having inventory, producing on demand almost, but that's another threat to shops, isn't it? Because shops are stock. So what is the future of retail then? You would go in and order something that would be made for you, or is there's still a place for the high street where you have a room full of things that have been made at some point in the past?
Well, Walter's model never really incorporated retail shops, right? You have some professional showrooms which themselves are useful for demonstrating how things work. So I don't see them going away. I mean, my personal battle has been for a long time. I mean, it's not now that retail is facing trouble. It's been facing trouble for the last 10 years. And you know, I couldn't ever justify just doing a furniture and lighting shop in central London, just purely from the rent and cost of personnel. So my overlapping kind of events / restaurant / office / brand headquarters / professional environment for showing things is going to mutate even more into something where all of these activities overlap. And I'm going to have to even use my building more like a 24-hour hub rather than a retail shop. So that discotheque that you were talking about and that I'm busy building right now for you is how you use the shop, from 12 o'clock midnight when the restaurant closes until the early hours, and then the bakery starts up at 6 a.m. Baking the bread for breakfast, right? So I'm trying to sweat my assets and trying to make retail visitable again. And what's been great about doing the greengrocer is we've kept the spark of the restaurant alive during the COVID crisis, because people are absolutely desperate to go out. So that excuse of being able to go out and buy bread has been something where people still come and visit us, right? So I think new communing in different ways and overlapping of expertise and cooperation is going to be the thing.
Got a few questions just to finish off with. A viewer called Atharva asks, what are key points that designers should not neglect when designing a light fixture for any space? Tom, what are the things you need to bear in mind when you're designing lighting for a space?
It's too broad. It's too broad a question, really. It depends what the space is, of course, But I mean, the beauty of lighting design is it can be pure fantasy or it can be pure illumination, and we've been talking about somewhere in the middle. There's something really exciting about lighting still, in my view, which is the transformative aspect on a space. The thing that you have to remember is that sometimes the object is off. So it's not producing light. Often you're just, and as often as possible, you want to be trying to not have that thing illuminated. So these two states of illumination, which is the artifact which has to work when it's not working, and then the net effect of what happens when you switch it on, are the important things to remember in every situation. Is that it has two states.
Final question. I'll ask this one to you, Walter. Marco asks about code. Are the systems connected? Can the light send and receive data? In other words, can you generate insights required to power cities? I guess that's whether, as well as giving out light, can it take in information, then feed that back in to the system somehow?
Wow, that's a good, interesting question. I must tell you, probably it's an interesting idea, but because with the sensors, and we have so many sensors in other, especially in our office lightings, with sensors the system can learn, and actually with the possibility of our track, in theory it could work, could be really an interactive light. You mean we should create the Alexa of light systems?
And my question, can they be used outside, or could they be modified to be used outside?
Oh my Lord, you want it to be waterproof as well as coloured, as well as addressable, as well as collecting information.
Yeah.
I think all of these things will happen real soon. You know, the reality of this project actually is it was incredibly quick. You know, we started talking about it, I think in, I don't know, October. We agreed to collaborate in November. We started designing in December, and we were going to launch it in Light and Build in March. So in terms of product development and ideation, we've shrunk what would normally be a 2-year process into 6 months. So give us a chance to get the color in, give us a chance to do the addressable, and also capturing sun's rays and emitting them again. We'll do all of that, but probably next month, not this one.
Thank you, Tom.
Just in time for the summer holidays then. Brilliant. Thanks so much, Tom. Thanks so much, Walter. Good luck with Code. People can read about it on Dezeen. And thanks so much for your time. See you soon.
Thanks, Marcus. See you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye-bye. Have a good time.